Uncensored. I am your host, Keith Andrew, along here with Leanne Bishop, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Now, for people who want to know what Uncensored is, Uncensored's my way to show people that even with a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, turning myself into a perfect example for people out there deaf, blind, or in a wheelchair. But you should never label yourself, or you should never have people label you, and you should prove to them, no matter what, you can still amount to something, and that's the whole point of life.
That's right. I love that. That's amazing.
Now, with that being said, it's a half-hour, 45-minute conversation. You can curse if you want to. It's basically whatever you want to do.
Okay, great.
So, starting off, what can you tell me about yourself?
Well, I was born in a small town, Port Williams, Nova Scotia, in Canada, so way over on the East Coast. And I grew up there most of my life, and I ended up moving to New York City to go to school. I went to theater school there, so I lived in New York for a while. And then I finally write and I produce as well, so I noticed myself kind of pitching more and had a lot of projects I was trying to get off the ground, so I came out to LA just for 2 weeks to have some meetings and ended up falling in love with it here. So I've migrated here, and I've been here for about a year and a half now, and loving every minute of it. I mean, you can't complain with the weather, right?
It's better than New York, I tell you that much.
Exactly. I did love New York, though. New York's a wonderful, passionate city. And where are you, right in the city?
No, I'm near West Point.
Okay. Well, you're not too far. You can go in for visits.
Well, if you're ever in the area, I'd love to hang out with you.
For sure. I still go to New York from time to time, so definitely.
You ever been to Woodbury Commons, or?
No, I haven't.
Not missing much.
I guess I need to, right?
It's a big tourist attraction.
Nice. I'm sure it's lovely.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
When you were in high school, well, two questions. When you were in high school, did you ever do any sports? And when you were in college, were you a study nerd or party animal?
Oh my goodness. You're going to find out everything about me. No, when I was actually a gymnast. My whole life I did gymnastics. And I competed, and it was sort of, I also played soccer in school, but gymnastics was my thing, and I did power tumbling for the national team in Canada, and that's actually what was able to get me my green card, is through gymnastics. I was able to get my green card, enabling me to work in the United States, which is wonderful. So yeah, it's still a part of my life. I go to LA School of Gymnastics, and I go work out there once a week if I can. And there's nothing like being upside down, right? It's wonderful. Keeps you young. In college, yeah, I think I was a mix. I definitely wasn't a party animal, but I wasn't just in the books either. So I did a little of both. Balance, right?
That's true.
What about you? Do you consider yourself a nerd or a party animal?
More a nerd, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now that brings up the next question. Did you go to a private school or a public school?
I went to a public school.
Same here.
Yeah.
And let's compare educations. Did you think there could have been more you could have gotten out of your school, or do you think you got everything that you needed?
I had a blast. I had a really good group of friends, and not everyone's lucky to have a positive high school experience, but I really did. I loved where I grew up, and I was lucky to have a tight group of girlfriends, and for me it was wonderful. Could have I learned more? Of course. I don't necessarily think what you learn in school always prepares you for the real world.
That's true.
Right? But I wouldn't change a thing. It was, I look back on it as being some of the most fabulous times in my life.
The only thing I enjoyed about high school was the fact they had the audio-visual department.
Oh, okay.
So I was constantly making videos, and that's how I came up with the idea of my talk show.
It all happens for a reason then, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
But besides that, I had to deal with a lot of bimbos and assholes and jocks, and mostly the teasers just gave me a hard time, but...
yeah, I mean, that's really cruel, and that stuff breaks my heart to hear that.
Now, you mentioned you were a gymnast. Do you still, I don't mean to be redundant,
No.
do you still do it, or is it occasionally?
Yeah. No, I still go to a place here in LA, and I go and do flips there once a week, sometimes more, sometimes less, but now, I don't have the same skill level as when I was competing, but I still do, like, back handsprings and flips and back tucks and back layouts, and, yeah, because, I mean, you never know, especially in this profession. Like, I've gone on auditions before where they want you to do flips for commercials, and I just love it. It's a part of me, and I'm going to do it as long as my body will allow me to. Not to compete anymore, just to, it's a really good workout. It kind of gets every muscle, and it's also very much a mind game, in that you have to have a lot of concentration. So it's not just about how fit you are, it's about if you're allowed to, let your mind focus and be able to do the tricks and to have that centered energy.
Well, I just had two questions for you, but first one is I was just watching my reflection in the camera. So if I look dark, I apologize. I have the sun's out, but I also have the lights on, so I don't know. Do I look...
Of course, I can see you fine.
Do I look black to you or white?
You look white.
That's good to know. Now, the question I was going to ask you, when you were a gymnast, how did it get started? What motivated you? And was it just one-on-one, or did you ever do group stunts?
Yeah, well, honestly, I don't remember how I got started, other than my parents tell me I was just always doing it on the lawn. Like, I don't remember ever saying, "Oh, Mom and Dad, can you put me in gymnastics? I really want to do it." I was just constantly messing up their living room, doing flips and stuff, and I taught myself how to do gymnastics, like, when I was really young. I was probably about 5 when I started doing, like, organized gymnastics. So in gymnastics, like, yes, we have a team, but it's still an individual sport. So, but I never did cheerleading where there's the stunts, like a team stunt thing. So it was, you're on a team, but it's an individual sport.
Like, for example, there's this gymnast trio where there's you and 2 other people, and you do like a handstands, but you're doing it at the same time, and you're doing like a double flip at the same time. You ever?
Yeah, I never did any of that stuff. I did all the individual.
All right. Well,
what that says about me. Maybe I'm not a team player. No, I'm only joking.
You're gonna probably poke fun at me for this, but I have a certain group of cousins for the girls and a certain group of cousins for the guys, and I don't usually say this to the guys because I'm not gay and I'm not stupid. So if it comes off I flirt with the girls more, it's a compliment.
Oh, well, I'll take the compliment then.
But the question I was hinting towards was, did he ever get the chance to do, and I'm a loser, by the way, but did he ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids or dog pile?
Oh, yeah, we'd always do that for fun. We'd usually get our team pictures doing stuff like that. It's really fun.
I love that.
Sometimes we'd even do it on the beach,
Hey, if you're up for it, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that. I always wanted to do one, but I never found the right group of people, so I was always left out. And people knew I loved doing human pyramids. Was the girls, of course.
Right. They're fun. They're fun. I've done a lot of human pyramids, like with girls and guys, like mixed together. So it's just good to have the stronger men and to be on the bottom. And so it's great.
And they always knew I always wanted to do one, so they always tease me, "Oh, maybe tomorrow we get to do it," or "Oh, you should have been, where were you? You should have been in my gym class, we did a pyramid." It's like, I love that stuff, and you're just loving it in my face, but I was wondering, if you go to the gym, maybe you and your girlfriends would do a couple flips, and then we can do like a second interview saying, well, if you're okay with it, I don't mean to impose on you, but saying, "Hey, this is what I do at the gym, this is my routine and everything."
Yeah, if I could, let me check into that and see if I can find some other people that would be up for it.
Would you be interested in, going back to the pyramid, would you be interested in still doing that, or is that...
It's something I kind of did more. I haven't done it in a long time. I more just sort of like go to work out to keep in shape and have fun and just to kind of keep active,
But would you be up for it, or not really?
I don't know. It would depend. You never know.
I was leave it at that.
Yeah.
I don't mean to impose on you. I apologize.
No, you're not imposing. That's perfectly fine.
The next question I was going to ask you is, what did you major in?
I actually did accounting. The total opposite end of what I'm doing now, right?
Right.
Yeah, I have a business mind, and so I worked as an accountant for a while. I worked in the tourism and hospitality industry, and then I worked as an accountant for a while, and it wasn't me. How do I say that? It's a good living and a stable job, but I wasn't creative, and it wasn't fulfilling my soul. So I left that, and then that's when I moved to New York to go to acting school. And, so now, yes, I'm an actor, but I also write and produce. So my background in accounting really helps me for that. Like when I'm trying to get projects off the ground, I can figure out the money, I can do the budgets. And so I don't consider any of that a waste. It actually really supplements me when I'm working on those kind of projects.
All right, well, we're going to take a short commercial break to plug my sponsor. But when we come back, I have a couple more questions, and you can ask me anything you want.
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 3. Let me rephrase that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 93 of Uncensored. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is the beautiful Ms. Bishop, and I just want to say thank you for once again joining us on our talk show.
Thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure.
Now, for people who like our sponsor of every show, I'm now going to tell you what the sponsor is. I work with lifeofafighter.com, and that's basically we're pretty much like everything. Life of the Fighter works with Amway.com, so we sell makeup, we sell cookware, we sell energy drinks and energy bars, and now how that's directed at you is, you mentioned your gymnast model, and you look good, by the way. Do you, obviously, oxymoron on my part, do you like working out and keeping in shape like we were talking before?
Yeah, I do. I'd like to do gymnastics more, but it's, it's not in my back, like the place I go to is far away, so I usually only do it once a week. But, I go running and I play tennis, and I like to go hiking a lot. I usually go to Runyon Canyon because it's fairly close to where I live. So yeah, I'm very active, and it's really important to stay in shape for your health, but also being an actor, you need to be in, it's good to be fit and to be on top of your game. And it helps clear your mind too, I find, the endorphins from when you're working out.
All right, well, after the show, I do have an idea for you. That's
okay, great.
Bringing up the sponsor.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have anything you want to ask me so far? Any questions, subjects that you're passionate about?
Well, I'm curious to learn more about you, and, I know you were inspired to do this to show that anybody can do what they want, but, like, what is your goal for this show? You're showing it on YouTube, or how are you?
For the most part, it's on YouTube. I do have my followers, and they can go to the Keith Andrew. That's Keith, Keith, Andrew, ANDREW, network.com, and they can watch all my 92 past interviews and basically tell you the long story about it.
Yeah, I would love to hear it.
A year and a half ago, well, it's a year and a half right now, but a year ago, I started it, and it was kind of my mistake because I wasn't doing it right, and I didn't know that until I tried getting sponsors and everything.
Right.
But I can get to that. So basically, how we're talking now would be like I would just have you on the phone. It would be just the audio. And I did 72 of those. And I was like, why am I not getting any hits? it's being listened to, but it's not working. And the sponsor says, oh, well, what is your demographic? What is this? What is that? I don't know. What's your fan base? I have a fan base? And that's news to me. Okay. It's like, we can't work with someone like that. Okay, what do you recommend? Doing it over and see where it goes. So that's where the year and a half now comes into play. Most of the people I interviewed the first time, from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to... That's really about it, because, the Spider-Man people didn't want to do it over. The Dragon Ball Z people said I would, but I'm in the middle of something. I don't want to do it over. So half of the people I interviewed the first time said I had fun with it. And this is where it gets me. I had a great time being on your talk show. Can't wait to do it again anytime. Okay, I'm doing it over. Would you like to be a part of it? Oh no, I just said that because I thought you were a good guy or a good kid, and I thought we were still on the air. And it's like, so basically that's why to me, and that's all you have.
Maybe they had good intentions, right, and just got busy.
Right, maybe.
Let's go with that. We'll pretend that, right?
Right. So half of them said, yeah, no problem, we can do it again. And half of it says it was a one-time thing. And it's like, okay, whatever, I'm not going to push on it.
Yeah.
And I got Life of a Fighter, who, it's funny enough, he started out as a guest, and he took interest in my talk show. And so I'm very thankful for that. And that's something I'd like to talk to you after the show about. It's something if you're interested in it. Without hinting towards it, but I get to it after. So basically, that's the long story. Now, you mentioned about, when I mentioned audio-visual, I actually came up with the morning show because we had a high school radio station.
Okay.
And we had about, 2,000 kids, and each classroom had a TV. And they were always occasionally turn on the radio station to see me and everyone else doing a DJ. I said to them, wouldn't it be a great idea instead of having a wink talk show, do an actual high school TV show?
Oh, wow, yeah.
And they said, oh, well, go try it. And because it was just me, I didn't have anyone, it didn't really work out. So they took an interest, since two people overheard it, took my idea, even though I was flattered at the time they took my idea. But what pisses me off about it is they said, you never came up with it, this is all my idea. And, so at the time I had my own talk show. It was the Keith Andrew Power Hour. It was the Keith Andrew and Keith and Tony show, but that was terrible. But Keith Andrew Power Hour was one I wanted. I wanted to have guests like you, but I don't know where you were 10 years ago.
Right.
And
maybe I wasn't on LinkedIn 10 years ago.
Right. And there was no Skype 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how they felt about having celebrities call to school, and so I wanted to take it seriously, but at the same time, I wanted to get out of high school.
Right.
But to answer your question, that's how everything came together.
That's very exciting. Congratulations. It's a great idea.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now, going back and mention the 10-year mark, what were you doing 10 years ago?
Oh my goodness, isn't that funny how time flies by? It's hard to remember. 10 years ago, I think I was in Toronto at the time. I think I was doing some acting there. I was sort of in between places. I'm pretty sure I was in Toronto at the time, like acting, and I think I was just finishing working as, I'd been still doing some accounting work, and kind of going back and forth, dabbling between having the standard career and, the creative outlet. It was a big risk to move and change careers, but I'm so thankful that I had the guts to do it.
Do you think you made the right choice?
Yes, I would never go back in a second.
Now,
Never look back, yeah.
Now, next question I ask you is, what motivated you to become an actress? And have you starred or were you any extras in any movies or TV shows?
Yeah, I think, I always loved acting as a kid, and I just sort of did it. I grew up in a really small town, so I was just kind of doing it part-time here and there, and because in Nova Scotia, there's lots of films that come to town, and there's lots of wonderful actors there, but you can't really do it as a full-time career. Or,
right.
Some people do, but it's not New York or LA or Toronto, so it became difficult. So then I decided one summer I was just going to go to New York for the summer and take acting classes just for the summer. So that's what I did. I had no intention of moving there. And when I started, I just did a 6-week intensive at the neighborhood Playhouse, and then I really realized that, oh my goodness, I'm only scratching the surface. I have so much more to learn. I fell so far in love that it made me have to quit my job and move there, and I just knew beyond a shadow of doubt that that's what I was meant to do. And I've been doing, I did a lot of theater when I was in New York, and I've been doing, a little film and TV. I recently finished this great psychological thriller where I got to play the lead. I played opposite Nick Mancuso, where it's a wonderful film. I can't wait for it to come out, but my character goes through a lot of ups and downs. I don't want to give the storyline away, but it's a role that I have never played before, and it had so much depth and such a huge character arc. So I'm really, really proud of it and excited. It's called Regression, so you'll have to be watching out for it.
All right, well, just let me know.
Yeah, I will for sure.
Now, you mentioned you were a writer. Was it the same format how you fell into it, or how did you...
Yeah, I started writing. Honestly, as an actor, it's hard, right? And especially for females, there's way more male roles, and a lot of the female roles are ones that are woman number one, prostitute this, blonde, bubbly girl. It's we can do so much more than that. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little, but in general, there's not a lot of strong female roles. So I started writing to create work for myself. And the projects that I've done that I've been the most proud of are projects that I've written and produced, because I get to see it the whole way through, and I'm creating the character that I believe in and that I've fallen in love with, that I want everyone else to fall in love with too.
Well, have you written any actual books or just short stories?
Just short films, and I just finished writing a feature film as well, and I'm also working on producing a TV series about, do you know New York's Radioman?
Heard of it, I never saw it though.
Yeah, so I'm working on a TV show about him. He used to be a homeless alcoholic living on the streets of New York, and he had such a love for movies that he'd ride his bicycle with a radio around his neck, and that's how he got coined the name Radioman, because he always wore this radio around his neck. So he would go all around all the film sets and eat off their craft tables and befriend people, and he's just one of those guys that can get away with it. He's like one of those people that everyone just falls in love with, even though he's not the norm. He'll tell celebrities to fuck off, and they'll give him a hug. So he's no longer homeless or alcoholic, but he's now been in over 100 movies, and so I'm working with a producer in New York, and the story that we're doing is it's kind of like a hobo Entourage meets Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it's really a story about the most unlikely person's rise to fame. So that's really exciting. I'm working on that right now.
Hey, just throwing out an idea. I'm talking about being a producer. Maybe we can work together.
Yeah, that could be a possibility as well. We'll have to talk about some stuff after. Normally I produce the stuff I produce is stuff that I'm doing to get off the ground for myself.
Right.
This is going to sound I don't know how it's going to sound, but in all honesty, most times, I'm certainly happy to help out where I can. But my drive isn't to become a producer. My drive isn't to produce projects that I haven't created or that I'm not involved in. It's because it's the same with writing. if you were to hire me and you said, I want you to write me this feature film about this, 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 and this, unless you're going to pay me a lot of money, I probably wouldn't have the motivation to do it. Like, I like to create stuff that I've come up with and create stories that I'm trying to get out there to help take my acting level to my career to the next level.
Never say never.
I started doing it, like that's what, when you ask what motivates me, that's what motivates me.
Mm-hmm. Never say never.
Exactly. I never say never.
Now, the other question I was going to ask you is, where do you stand on women's rights? And I agree with you that women should be treated like everyone else. But let's go more into details, if you don't mind me for asking. Where do you stand on it?
I am very, very much, pro women rights. And I'm a member of Women in Film here in Los Angeles. And the numbers are astounding. And it's about 33% of women in roles compared to men in leading roles. Even in a movie, when you just like have a crowd scene with all the extras, it's still, I can't remember the exact statistics, it's like around 20% or 20 or 30% are females and the rest are still males. So like I encourage people to, it's not about, if you're writing a script, it's not about changing your movie to include more females. It's not about changing your story because it can't be centered around a male lead. But it's like, take a look at like what we're creating for our kids. Does the doctor in your movie really need to be a male? Why can't it be a female? And because young children, they watch TV and this is how they learn these ideals. So maybe we can't change the world overnight. But if a young child sees that, oh look, all these physicists are females, all these doctors are females on TV, then they believe it's possible for them to do it as well.
Right.
And it's hard to believe, like after all these years, you think we've made leaps and bounds, but not really. Not really. Everyone wants to believe that, but it's quite sad.
No, I agree with you, and the women deserve the same rights. I am for women's rights. It's basically what it comes down to. It's stupidity for most people who think there should be a difference. There's no fucking difference. Excuse my language.
And a lot of times, too, I don't even know if people necessarily think there should be a difference. Sometimes they're like, oh yeah, no, they're equal. But then they're so programmed. There's a lot of people that think there should be a difference, but people are so programmed that things are a certain way that they don't even think about it. They don't even realize what's going on. They don't even, they think things are equal and fine. And, oh no, there's lots of female roles until they start looking at the stats.
No, I'll give you a perfect example while on subject. For Asian women, there's not a lot of roles.
No.
And there's this one actress, and there's a couple like Lucy Liu and the other actress who passed away. See with the Yellow Ranger and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Trini?
I can't think of who that is, but I know what you mean. There's not a lot of roles. You're right.
I don't know why it has to be like that. It's just ridiculous.
No, well, that's one thing I really want to change. In the films that I'm working on, creating roles for myself, but I'm also, I want to create a lot of strong female roles and have opportunities for others.
That's true. Now, where do you stand on women's sports being equal as for men's sports?
Same. I feel like it should be the same for everything. Why should there be a difference?
Absolutely. I was watching the World Series last night. Did you get to see it?
I didn't, unfortunately.
It was the San Francisco Giants winning again for a third year.
Of course, they win again.
Now, and I was thinking when I was watching this guy run, and everyone's like, "Ah!" cheering and everything, and I was like, why can't people do this for the female audience? Why can't all these guys? I know you're thinking with their home runs and everything, but seriously, why can't guys get behind women's football or women's baseball and say, hey, there is something here that can, even if you think about money, there is something here that can be an inspiration, but can get people behind it. And it's, and I talked to my dad about it. It's like, well, lots of women's baseball? No, no, who wants to see that? It's like, why you have to be that way? Okay, we watch football. A bunch of guys dogpile each other. Oh, have you seen that takedown, man? The only thing I see is a bunch of gays. A bunch of dudes and I don't want to offend any gays out there. A bunch of dudes in tights jumping on each other. Shit, I've ever watched a bunch of women do that.
Well, I mean, again, I think it should just be equal. I don't see why. I mean, there's a lot of things in the world that who knows why it is, right? It's just we have to work to change the things that we believe in.
That's true, and I don't mean it for me to sound sexist.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I know what you're getting at.
Was there any subjects you feel passionate about or motivates you?
For me, it's healthy living. I think that's really important. I feel like what's the point in going after your career and your goals if you don't have good values in life and if you're not a whole happy person. So I just think having a healthy lifestyle and being kind to others, trying to live the life that the way you would want others to treat you. For me, healthy eating and meditation and exercise is a very big part of my life. And because at the end of the day, if you had all the money in the world but you weren't a happy person, you're still not going to be a happy person. You need to be whole within first.
That's true. And now for people who want to know if they watch certain episodes, and I like things to be interactive, and I don't mean for you and how that sounds, there's a lot of sick people out there. Oh, you want to be interactive? Well, how much you want it to be interactive? But I mean, like, for example, if you have any outfits you like to show us, or you know what I mean, but I'm just thinking about all the comments are gonna be flooding in from this. This guy is so sexist. Oh, how stupid is he?
Well, hey, maybe you'll get more hits.
I was gonna say, if there's any outfits you like to show us, or any pictures or trophies, or you want to show us your place, I like it to be, interactive instead of just being stationary like this. If you want to get up, walk around, show us your outfits, but
yeah, it's that's nothing I could actually could do. Right, I don't feel comfortable doing that right now.
All right, I didn't mean to impose on you. I'm just like,
no, not imposing at all. But I'm like, my apartment is not tidy right now. I don't want you to see my mess. I don't want you to see my dirty laundry pile. Although I just told you all about it.
Right. That's a nice bed you have in the background.
Politely decline.
All right. Well, but it's pointing it out. You have a nice bed in the background.
Yes, there you go. That's the one area of the place that's clean. So there you go. Ta-da!
You know how people think, like it. I know they're gonna say, if you just gotta flirt with her, just say she's beautiful, and and you are. It's just.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Yeah, I'm a sweetheart, but I come off as a pain in the ass sometimes.
Yeah, well, we all do, right?
Have you now wrapping up for our subject? Do you have any funny stories that happened to you over the years that's like, oh my god, this is so funny? Or do you have any embarrassing stories? Like, have you ever worked in retail before?
I have worked in retail. I'm trying to think of maybe like one of the funniest or most embarrassing ones. I'll just tell you one thing. As a gymnast, and people that aren't gymnasts don't realize this, but most of us actually aren't that coordinated in everyday life. So when I'm like, I can go do a perfect routine on the balance beam or like not fall, and then after like trip over the mat after. It's almost like we're so focused on doing our skills when we're doing them, our brain has to be so in the zone that after you just like walk like you're in a cloud or something. Anyhow, literally just this summer, I was just like running on the street and I just tripped over my own foot, my whole shoelace. I went flying into the middle of the street. My phone went one direction, my keys the other. Anyhow, of course, this is in the middle of the day in front of everybody. Cars, like, having to stop and, like, everyone asking me if I'm okay. Like, yep, I'm fine. What happened? Oh, I just tripped over my foot, you know.
Now, didn't they say dumb blonde, or was it a blonde thing? I'm not calling you.
You know, and, like, that's the thing. It's like, I'm just very clumsy and very... That's just me, which is, like, the total opposite of a gymnast. So I'm either very, very on or very clumsy.
No, you look good to me. So.
Well, there you go.
I got a funny story. We went to this Italian restaurant, me and my family. Forgot, I think it was for a birthday or a holiday or something. Unless it was just a dinner. I don't remember the whole title of it. So we took 2 cars. I was going back with my sister and my brother. And it was cold out. And it's like, okay, so where did you park? It's freaking freezing out here. Well, where did you park? Right here. Okay, the white car, white car, white car. Where's your car? Your car's white. In front of you. Okay, I never noticed that thing on the roof before. Okay. I grabbed the handle. Handle feels kind of different. Is you positive this is your car? Yes, get in the freaking car. Open the door, got into the back, so close the door behind me, put the seatbelt on, sitting there like this. You can guess where this is going.
Yes.
And they're just standing out there looking at the car, and it's like, oh, what happened to the car? Did someone scratch it? Did someone hit it? And at the same time, I noticed there was a Bumblebee sticker. And I was like, hey, where did she decide to get that from? And I looked down, and it went from an automatic to a stick. When did my sister learn how to drive a stick? At the same time, a light bulb went on and said, oh shit, I'm in someone else's car. And my brothers, at the same time I looked up, you're in the wrong car. So I got out, and I closed the door, and he says that God help you if that owner of the car comes out or the alarm goes off, because you're going to be on your own.
Oh, that's hilarious. well, you're lucky, right?
Right. Well, the other funny story. Oh, you're gonna like this one. Are you a cat person or a dog person?
Neither.
No, you don't like cats or dogs?
I'm allergic, so.
That sucks. Well, I guess in that case I could go over to your place, because if you came over here, you would probably have like an asthma attack. I have 5 cats and one dog.
Oh my goodness! Wow, that's a lot.
It's funny, I'm the youngest out of 4 brothers and 1 sister. So every time they move out, we replace them with a cat or a dog. So, in 2003, my eldest brother and my upper brother, we were hanging out with his girlfriend, and he said, okay, we're going out for a little bit. And my brother, Matt, and he says, okay, Matt, we're going to go out. What's Madison? That's her name. And unfortunately, Madison passed away, but this is a funny story. It always makes me laugh, and I know you're going to love it, hopefully. We're going out. What's Madison? Okay. Because they were playing with her and giving her catnip, but it wasn't the solid, it was the powder kind.
Yeah.
And it says, okay, here's the catnip box. Make sure you close it so you can't get to it. Oh, okay, no problem. So he's sitting there watching TV. He made a mistake of falling asleep. And says, all I did was close my eyes for a couple minutes. And you'd have to later on. He fell asleep. Madison got so round up, she hopped on the table, knocked the catnip over, threw it in the air. Matthew was covered. The walls were covered. Everything. Madison went from gray to solid white.
Oh my goodness.
My brother came out because his girlfriend at the time. He said, what the fuck happened to my apartment? Matthew! Huh? What are you yelling at me? What happened? Why am I covered in this? Madison came stumbling out of the bathroom. Her eyes are glazed over. And she's like, well? So that's the funny story we remember of her.
That's hilarious. Yes, you're full of them, right?
Right. Now, wrapping up, do you have anything you want to say to your fans and listeners, or any words of wisdom you want to say? Are you still there?
When I tell you, you can't.
I'm sorry, could you repeat yourself? It froze.
I said, be good, follow your dreams, and don't let anybody tell you you can't.